Not long ago, I had a seller client who got an offer on their home that was backed by Bitcoin. The buyer wasn't offering traditional financing, but instead using crypto as collateral through this Bitcoin mortgage lender. Now, naturally, my client had a lot of questions like, is this real? Will it close like a normal deal? What happens if the asset value drops during escrow? All normal questions. But it turns out that this is very common in 2025. So today, I'm going to break down how Bitcoin-backed mortgages actually work and how they compare to traditional loans. So traditional mortgages is a promise to pay. Traditional banking in general is built on a promise. The bank lends you money based on your credit score, income, debt-to-income ratio. You're approved not because you have the money, but because the system believes that you will earn and repay it over time. Now, that means there could be months of underwriting, pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, credit checks, just to prove that you're good for the loan. Now, Bitcoin mortgages are proof of work. Bitcoin mortgages flips that model where lenders like MILO and People's Reserve approve loans not beyond your promise to pay, but what you've already owned. So they evaluate your Bitcoin holdings as real-time collateral, and if you've spent years of stacking sats and holding through the volatility, that becomes your proof of work. No income verification, no tax returns, just asset-backed lending, often up to 100% of the financing. So you're borrowing against the value you've already created, not your future income. So MILO Credit, keep your Bitcoin, get the house. MILO offers this crypto-backed mortgages where you don't have to sell your Bitcoin. You post it as collateral, and then they lend up to $5 million USD to purchase your home. That means you get to keep the Bitcoin and any future upside while you still buy the property without selling the stack and triggering capital gains. In fact, MILO says that they've originated over 65 million in crypto mortgages with zero margin calls so far. That lets you lock in the value of the contract to avoid that volatility of the asset. Now, People's Reserve is asset-backed innovation. So People's Reserve takes a similar approach. They use Bitcoin as collateral for those non-qualified mortgages. You don't sell your Bitcoin, you use it as leverage. And then their model is designed for self-repaying loans where your interest rate adjusts based on the performance of the collateral. So as your Bitcoin gains value, your rate actually goes down. Now, this rewards those responsible long-term holders and avoids the emotional pain of liquidating the crypto asset at the wrong time. And regulation is catching up, but you are still early. The FHFA instructed Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to consider crypto assets in underwriting, but only if they're held on regulated US platforms. That's a big step and a big deal, but most lenders like title companies, they still lag behind when it comes to crypto. So you'll want to work with providers who have already done these deals like MILO or People's Reserve, so you're not just the guinea pig. So know the trade-offs. Bitcoin-backed mortgages offer speed and control, but they're not for everybody. If Bitcoin drops suddenly, you may need to post more collateral, and not every title or escrow company is crypto-friendly. Now, while you won't be selling your Bitcoin, sudden price swings can affect the loan-to-value ratio and may trigger a margin call. So it's not easy money, but for those long-term holders who want to use their Bitcoin without losing it, these mortgages can be a strategic way to move forward. And as for my seller, they ended up accepting that offer and it closed without a hitch. So Bitcoin-backed mortgages are real and they are growing, but they do work differently than the traditional banking model that most sellers and buyers are used to. So if you're considering a Bitcoin offer, or if your buyer is looking to leverage crypto without selling it, reach out. I'll help you understand the risks and match you with the right partner so it closes smoothly. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a question in the comments, and I'm happy to break this down further. Thanks for watching.